Hi, I'm Michele Saumberfield. It is a beautiful, bright, sunny Saturday. It's February 20th, 2021. Just ate an omelet. It was delicious. And I thought I would do another poetry reading. I am sitting here drinking coffee with my favorite presidents, President Lincoln, President Kennedy, and my favorite Attorney General, Bobby. Still drinking out of my Christmas mug, as you can see. So anyway, I just actually needed that so I could speak when I read. I wanted to talk about something that a friend of mine brought up in a videoed rant that he posted on his Facebook site. My friend is very multi-talented, very charming, very witty, very opinionated. And he kind of like toggles between like, I don't know, like philosophical and peace and love in the world to, and let's attack and change the world now. And I'm going to tell you what's wrong with the world. and he likes to really talk. He's very passionate. He likes to really talk about things that he sees that he feels are injustices or just things that piss him off because sometimes things seem so, I guess, tedious or stupid or vain or superficial. And so I wanted to talk about something because he was bringing up stuff that I think about a lot. He was talking about how there are a lot of, okay, my hair is like falling in my face. He was talking about how there's a lot of young women specifically, not just young women, but a lot of young women who these days post a lot of selfies. And they post so many, looking their cutest, and then they wonder, why miscellaneous people they're not interested in are paying attention to them. And they act all upset. Now, I know what it's like to have different people, kind of come on to me online when I'm really not posting much of anything. But, he was talking about how a lot of times people are so basically self-absorbed that they're always kind of projecting this message out to the world that says, look at me, give me more attention. And then they're not prepared for the attention they get. I find it really interesting just in general that people do care so much about receiving constant approval and attention. I have known people before who act like if somebody doesn't respond to something they posted immediately, that, oh my God, something's wrong. Or if they don't get a certain number of likes on something, oh my God, what's happening? And I'll say to people, it's dinner time, or it's time a lot of people are in church, or this is a holiday. Maybe they're with their family. Maybe they're not just living on the internet right now. But it seems like a lot of people want this kind of phony kind of fame sort of attention thing. And, I will be the first to admit I paint my nails most of the time, not all the time. I wear jewelry all the time, sometimes flashy, sometimes understated. I color my hair. I'm clearly wearing lipstick, and I did touch it up before I turned on the computer. I wear eyeliner. Of course, it's smearing in this eye right now. I'm vain too. But he was specifically talking also about the fact that people, I guess, worship youth to the point that, it's like, what does the world come to that we don't realize that with wrinkles and a double chin also comes a lot of fabulous stories, because the person behind the wrinkles and the double chin has so much to give in terms of experience, decades worth of experience, or wisdom because they made a lot of mistakes themselves. And he said many times, if you're lucky enough to get to be old, he'll talk about if you're lucky enough to get to be old, and there's so much truth to that. We all are like constantly trying to look like we're 25 or under, because that's what society has told us is still valuable and beautiful and sexy. And God knows sex appeal is the most important thing in the world, right? It's like, if I can reel them in, if I'm considered sexy, then I'm considered desirable. And if I'm considered desirable, then I'm a worthwhile human being. And you think about people who cure diseases, or people who work for years to come up with inventions that actually help people. I'm not talking about silly little crazy things. People who actually care about changing the world in some way that's significant. I think about people who actually work for food banks, or people who learn CPR just because maybe somebody around them someday will keel over, and they may not even know who that is, but they want to be ready to help somebody. There's people in the world who actually think more about that than about the kind of cars they drive, or how fancy their vacations are, or whether or not they've got designer labels on their clothes, or whether or not they have the perfect hairdo. And so I'm probably like getting off track sort of, but I see the value in what my friend says when he talks about how people have become so self-absorbed and they want attention for superficial things. And then even beyond the superficial, there's so many apps these days that people are not only posting pictures of themselves all the time, but they're altering themselves. So they're not even just focusing on superficial, but they're focusing on artificial, and they're presenting an artificial version of themselves to the world. It's not just enough to comb your hair and dress nice and put on makeup anymore. You have to put on something so there's a ray of light behind you, or so there's an extra sparkle in your eye, or so, the camera and the apps shave 15 years off of your face so people don't know that you're getting older too. And so I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but that's something that's on my mind a lot at times. And my friend was talking about it online the other day. Maybe not to the degree I am, but I really applaud his efforts just to kind of say, hey, there's more to life than this. Hopefully, even though I miss seeing people's smiles, hopefully to a certain degree, maybe wearing masks for the COVID thing has kind of leveled us all a little more. Of course, you can go home and then take a picture without your mask and post it. So, maybe not. But we should care more about how kind someone is, how intelligent someone is, how helpful someone is, how dependable someone is. That sort of thing. Goodwill, goodwill is more important than good eyeliner. A big heart is more important than big boobs. But my friend really makes excellent points sometimes. And his video kind of really stuck with me, and I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know why. Here I am making a video, and I'm on it, and I'm wearing lipstick and makeup and all of that stuff. But I think I was also partly thinking that because I watched some of the videos that I had taped earlier in the week, and I could really see my double chin. And especially when I'm squinting and trying to read my poetry. And I thought, oh my God, that's awful. I should have taken that from a different angle. Oh, I look so horrible. And then I thought, damn it, Michele, you're 56. You're not going to look 26, 36, 46. And you're not going to look 56 for very much longer either. Okay. So anyway, I think we all have to start going inside and looking at the inside and seeing other people for more than that. All right, so I'm going to change the screen and try not to fumble too much while I read this, but unfortunately the print's going to be tiny, and yeah, let's see what I can do. This poem is called Headboard by MONICA WISHBRIAR. I think perhaps I have befallen under your erotic spell, and when you chose to up and leave, the plunge was pure hell. I remember how you laid there. I remember how you charged. I remember how you were soft and sweet, but ferocious when you were large. You really are so many things, a man of tremendous flair. You knew just how to press yourself in the tender spots that I bared. And then you turn me over and turn me on again, and when we finished I would feel as if I'd laid with 50 men. In the morning I'd awake, barely able to walk, weak with trembling in my legs, I'd sit up and sip tea by the clock. And every minute and every day my strength would begin to return, and I'd prepare for another night when the candlelight would burn. You'd tell me, as you'd light the wick, prepare yourself for a taken. And I'd disrobe and bend to the post and hold on while you gave me a shaken. In and out, and in and out, that jolt that turned to a glide, and you would stare as you pulled my hair, and I'd wrestle with my pride. Now you know I always liked it, that I couldn't conceal. It is just that the line gets blurred between love and sex and what's real. So when you left, I asked myself, would you do it over again? Even if you knew that man was leaving town on the getaway train. And yes, I know, though it be taboo, I surely wouldn't resist. If you were back for just one more night, I'd sprawl and wriggle and submit. And in that answer I did find a certain kind of accord, because as much as virtue is nice, my head belongs close to the board. That's Headboard by MONICA WISHBRIAR. So I kind of glitched a couple words. I don't know if you can tell because I kind of kept going even though I read them not quite right. Very imperfect. But you know, again, I said in one of my other videos, I can look back at my videos and go, oh my God, that's horrible. Or why did I make that weird face? You know, because sometimes I'm making faces and doing weird things with my mouth. You know, sometimes my mouth looks crooked because I'm on a weird angle, you know, when I set this up. Sometimes I'll just like look at myself and I go, oh my God, I'm such a mess. But I think, you know, getting back to what I was talking about earlier, I think we all get so caught up in pretty and flashy and all of that stuff. And I think the words are what's most important. And I also feel, as I said in one of my other videos, that I know a lot of people are afraid of public speaking. I know a lot of people are afraid they'll make a fool of themselves, that they'll get all twitchy, that they'll start coughing, that they might faint because they're so nervous, that they might screw up the words, that they'll forget a line, whatever. You know, I'm just the same. Actors, trained actors, the ones who are on stage who don't get to take, you know, take 4, take 40, take 80, they learn to improvise and they just go with the flow and they learn to pick things up where they've dropped something off, and their fellow actors learn to compliment them, you know, by swooping in and maybe doing something to save the scene. And I think it's just really important to be able to be comfortable with the glitches in life. And I know that's something that's really hard to do. I think everyone struggles with it. I know I do. We all want to be special. We all want to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. I think a lot about MARILYN because having lived that lifetime for 36 years, I know a lot of people know that I was difficult at times because I was hurting, and I was far from perfect. But I think what happens is when you die young and you're forever young and beautiful in people's minds, that there's this just unreal sort of vision people have of you, because, you know, you think about MARILYN. When I think about MARILYN, when I think, oh my God, now what if I had lived to be at least 70 or something, or even a lifetime, I think I might have ended up marrying Joe DiMaggio or somebody else and ended up with a fourth divorce. I might have ended up having a career that tanked once I got in my 40s and I wasn't a sex symbol anymore. I might have had to foreclose on my house. You know, my pill addiction, my drinking, if it wasn't under control, I might have really hit rock bottom and not died, but I might have, you know, done something worse. I don't know. But people would have seen me age. I would have either gotten plastic surgery and it might have turned out really bad. And of course, it wasn't as prevalent at that time as it is now, but it existed. Or I would have just outright aged. Either way, I would have aged. And I would not have been young and perfect looking and therefore given people the impression that I was this iconic, legendary vision of beauty, you know, forever. You see other famous actresses who have been known for their beauty, and you see how they've aged. And some of them, like Sophia Loren or Anne Margaret, remained gorgeous and working actresses, you know, into their older years, and that's wonderful. But there are, you know, a lot, you know, you just hear things, you know, people make snippy remarks about former sex symbols who aren't as pretty anymore, maybe because they've gained weight or have lots of wrinkles 30 or 40 years later, you know, and you got to look at them and say, well, what are they doing with their lives? Have they raised families? Have they had other careers? Have they donated a lot of money or a lot of time or a lot of effort to helping other people? I also heard where Tina Louise, who played Ginger on Gilligan's Island, of course, which was a very sex symbol, Marilyn Monroe type image character, I read somewhere that she helps people, like students who have trouble reading, read or something like that, helps people with their reading. And that's like amazing. That's beautiful. That transcends all that Hollywood hype and plastic. So yeah, I just wanted to get back to that, and I wanted to, you know, say that we all want people to recognize us. We all want to feel validated. We all want to be important for something significant. And we all need to look at what we're doing and be honest with ourselves and ask ourselves if we really are making a difference in our own lives, in our world. And I don't know if I am, you know, I got to think about this. I think about the power of putting a video out and maybe having it be seen by people who don't even know me, you know, and what is that influence? I think about writing a book, and am I passing on any wisdom at all in my books that I write? I only have one that's published so far. The second one is in the process and almost there. And the third one, I've written like 95%, but it'll be a while before that's published because I still have to pay off publishing the second one. But, I even ask myself with my books, is this all vanity? Is this all fluff? Is this all crazy? Is there any real value in these books? I mean, there's nothing wrong with using storytelling. And there's nothing wrong with using beauty, too. But it's part of the picture of life. It's not all of life. It's not all there is. It's not the only thing that has value. I think about the best times in my life, and my parents are wonderful. I love them, and I love my sister. But the best times in my life were with my nanny, at my nanny and papa's house, because she was so kind and caring and welcoming and open-minded and accepting. Not a perfect person. Nobody is. But it's like, embrace me with your smile. Embrace me with your attempts to understand me. Embrace me with your tolerance. Even if you don't like me, just embrace me with your tolerance. Tolerance is at least respectful, right? It's not bullying. I don't care if somebody has, prettier something than I do. I mean, I might be jealous for a moment, yeah. But I mean, I don't care if someone has a shinier car than I do or goes on a fancier vacation than I do. I don't care if someone's clothes were more expensive than mine. I don't even care if someone's boobs are better than mine. I'm happy with what I've got. I really am. I think we're in a world, and I guess the adults have to set the best example, because the adults are the ones who are raising the kids. We have to determine what it is that really has lasting value. And I say, I remember when I was about 29, one of my bosses, it was a guy he's 15 years older. He's still my friend. He's a wonderful person. But he said to me, you really ought to go out and take a bunch of pictures of yourself, because youth doesn't last forever. And someday you're going to wish you had a bunch of pictures. And I didn't do it, And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because if I had become a parent, which I didn't, I'm a stepmother, but if I had become a parent and then a grandparent, I would want to be able to show them something in a photo album. But at the same time, yeah, it's interesting the way vanity has it's just overtaken everything these days. And I think that's one of the things I find all right about people constantly posting pictures of their dogs or their cats or their favorite TV shows or a funny cartoon or a war hero or, a heroic dog from a canine unit or whatever. At least it's putting focus on something other than yourself. At least it's saying somebody else's talent, somebody else's plight, somebody else's accomplishment is important. It isn't all just about me. Anyway, I'm just lecturing. So that's my poetry reading. I read Headboard, I should say, by MONICA WISHBRIAR, and I am just going to finish up my cup of coffee with my two favorite presidents and the Attorney General. And have a nice Saturday, everybody.